All right, folks, welcome in. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and today we're talking about some news here. Derion Kendrick was just waived by the Rams. I'm going to get into what that means for the roster, how this could have happened, and what the implications are as far as capital. Before we get into it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, be sure to follow me on all social media at JK Bogan. All right, so looking at this Derion Kendrick thing, it's really interesting. Last year, from what I was told before he got hurt and tore his ACL right before camp, this is a guy that they had a lot of confidence in. They were feeling really good about his ability to play inside, outside. What I mean by that is, of course, playing the star position, play in the nickel, and of course, play on the boundary. Unfortunately, he goes down with an injury. Other guys step up in the form of UDFAs like a Josh Wallace here and a Charles Woods there, or just adding a new player. And in this case, they added Emmanuel Forbes Jr., who became available after the Commanders got rid of him, a former first-round pick, mind you. So I do think, before you ask, yes, I think Emmanuel Forbes Jr. has something to do with this. I've been hearing some really good things about him, not just what I've heard, but obviously it's been reported. He's having, a good OTA, and look, it's OTAs. I get that, but that does mean something. He's bulked up a little bit, so that's a good sign. Unfortunately for Derion Kendrick, this is the end of his Rams tenure. A former 6th-round pick, a guy that I think the Rams really gave opportunities to, and I thought he made the most of it. You don't normally get a 6th-round pick in the 2022 draft to say that he played 32 games, had 18 starts over 2 seasons. I mean, I think he was a great pick in what they got out of him. They're freeing up $3.4 million in cap space with this waive, if you will. So that's a big deal, and that could have implications in a potential Jalen Ramsey move. But when you talk about Derion Kendrick, this is a guy who, yes, a lot of fans were hard on him. He did have an issue with penalties. He had double digits his last year as a starter in 2023. So there are some things there, an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty here and there. And then, of course, he got into potential suspension territory. But I always like Kendrick. I appreciate his contributions to this team. And this was the final year of his rookie contract. So he's going to have a chance to go out and, spend some time. And we don't really know the status of his ACL. We don't know if he, was, he had to step back and just wasn't up to snuff, or, the Rams just felt like they had an embarrassment of riches in the form of having Forbes and some of the other guys like an AJ Green. And like I mentioned with Wallace and Woods, and of course, Jalen Ramsey potentially coming in the fold. But, this is an interesting thing, and I don't think many people were expecting it. But again, it does free up a decent amount of money, and Kendrick now has an opportunity to go and find another role before his contract, or rather his rookie year deal expires. So will anybody claim him? That I don't know. But regardless, if he goes through waivers or not, the Rams are freeing $3.4 million in cap space. So that's that, right? But there was no specific reason that was reported as to why he was gone. A lot of people would point to the injury history. A lot of people would point to Forbes. I would lean towards Forbes, but we don't know for sure. It's a combination of things, I'm sure, but also he's in his last year of his deal, so that's also another thing. And the Rams haven't been, they haven't shied away from moving on from guys in the final year of their rookie deal. I mean, you look at trading Van Jefferson at the beginning of the season, and you have guys like Cam Akers who you've moved on from. So it's not anything new. The Rams do tend to move on from guys in their final year if they're not going to be a part in maybe like a key role. So they could have seen it as maybe this is best for Derion Kendrick. We don't know. Maybe Derion Kendrick requested this. We have no idea. I lean towards the belief, though, it was a combination of Forbes, and maybe that injury kind of held him back a little bit. And that's not to say he can't recover and get back to where he was. He did have the torn ACL last July. And of course, while it's important to remember today's, sports medicine and everything, ACL tears don't end your career normally, but they're no walk in the park either. And I feel like we tend to kind of overlook, kind of the degree of difficulty it is to come back from an ACL tear. So that's something to keep in mind there. But, you have a guy that I think can definitely go and contribute somewhere, but the point being is now he's not on the Rams anymore, and the Rams just freed up $3.4 million in cap space, and now other guys are going to get opportunities, or they already were, and this is just a move that coincides with that. So looking at this, I think, stock up for guys like Emmanuel Forbes Jr., who slides in as the fourth cornerback on this roster now, pending a Jalen Ramsey pickup. AJ Green the third. I think this is a name you have to look out for. If they don't end up trading for Jalen Ramsey, then I really do believe AJ Green has a shot to make this roster. Josh Wallace played a decent amount last year. Charles Woods, of course, on special teams. Cameron Lampkin and Sean Jolly, who feels like he's been on the roster every year since Sean McVay's been here. It's not true, but it just feels that way, right? So young corner they're getting rid of, but again, rookie deal, makes sense to move off him if you don't feel like he was going to make the roster, or you feel like some other better options. But this also, let's be honest here, it doesn't mean that they're trading for Jalen Ramsey, and it's not necessarily a correspondent deal to get Ramsey, because they had to make room for the signing of DJ Humphries. And we'll get to the whole saga there, because there's a lot to unpack there in the next video. But this just happened, so I wanted to get this out. Derion Kendrick is gone. The Rams now are down to Witherspoon, Williams, Durant, Forbes, and then a bunch of other guys that are, vying to get an opportunity. The Jalen Ramsey stuff, though, I don't think this necessarily had anything to do with it, but what I will say is getting $3.4 million in cap space this late in the game definitely helps you to acquire a guy like Jalen Ramsey if you have to pick up a lot of money. Also, the Rams have already experienced, something going on with Alaric Jackson, which, again, I will elaborate in another video. So just because they got DJ Humphries doesn't mean that maybe necessarily they're done. And then, of course, you're always trying to upgrade the roster anyway. So, yeah, a lot to unpack there. But in conclusion, the Rams have moved on from Derion Kendrick. And, man, I wish him the best. I liked him. I think he was a little bit scapegoated by the fan base. I'm not saying everybody, but I know a lot of people, really kind of blamed everything on him. But you don't like to see it. Obviously, you want to see this guy move past this injury and be able to be effective. And that's what I'm hoping for. So we'll see where he ends up. We'll see what ends up happening with the Rams. What happens, do they add another corner here? Is it going to be Ramsey? Well, we'll find out probably within the month. So not like this month, but like a month, right? I think that's a good idea of a range, maybe August, up until August. So, yeah, I don't think they're done improving the roster either. I wouldn't be surprised if they made some moves for the UFL guys. Bryce Perkins just won MVP, so do you bring him back potentially and have him compete with Stetson Bennett? Matt Caskey is another one, former Ram, who had a really good run on the offensive line. So we'll see what they do, but that's all I got for you guys. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Are you happy about this? Are you disappointed? Are you rooting for Kendrick? Are you not rooting for Kendrick? And who do you think is going to replace him? I think a lot of people are going to say Emmanuel Forbes. I'm hoping now people take Emmanuel Forbes seriously and he's not just this guy, because I think clearly they're very high on him. And it's important to remember, while most of these guys are gone after this season, except for the UDFAs, of course, Forbes his contract year is at the end of next. So he has another year to go on the Rams. So he's still under contract through this year and next year. That's something to keep in mind. That's all I got for you guys. My conclusion is it's a bummer about Derion Kendrick, but I'm not in OTAs. I can't make that decision. I think that this is a smart move considering the cap, and I did allude to this being the case potentially when we were going over different cap options. That is a hefty number. Obviously, it's because of the accelerated cap number, because he's worked his way to becoming a starting cornerback in this league. He's started 18 games, so that boosted it up. It's why, Kyron Williams is in the 5-6 range million, when normally a 5th round pick in his last year of his contract wouldn't get like a crazy boost. That's part of the new stuff going on in the NFL. So, I get it, but I hate it for Kendrick, and I'm rooting for him to bounce back. That's all I got. You guys take care. I'll see you soon. Later, folks. All right, guys. So once again, just want to let you guys know that you can check out my new side project, The Lounge. I interview athletes, musicians, actors, actresses, all the nine. So definitely check it out over on the Lounge with Jake Ellenbogen channel. Be sure to subscribe and enjoy. In case you guys haven't noticed, I do have a Discord channel for my community on this channel. And if you want to be a part of it, it is free. The link is in the description below. You can sign up. This is basically a 24/7 Rams channel, and we are almost at 1,100 members. So if you want to be a part of it, just hit the link in the description below.